Welcome to Close Racing. Welcome to a platform for aspiring drivers. Welcome to the best in Formula F Racing. Welcome to F1600 in Focus. Featuring the F1600 Formula F Championship Series, the Pacific F1600 Championship Series, and the SCCA US Majors Tour. Supported by Honda Performance Development. And welcome to the championship edition of F1600 in Focus. I'm Jason Dukes along with Formula F insider Monty Matheson. On today's episode, we will be highlighting the Pacific F1600 Series rounds 11 through 15, the SCCA 50th Anniversary Runoff Final, and news and notes from the Formula F Championship Series.
And right away on the West Coast, Jason, 2 weekends left and championship coming to a quick conclusion with Colton Herta with the points lead on a whole bunch of race wins, ahead of teammate Joey Bickers. Both have similar cars in the Gal Honda package for PR1 Motorsports. And Alex Keys, just 15 years old, right out of karting, picking up speed for Cameron Racing in his Spectrum Honda. Also, West Coast, it's hot, gotta stay hydrated.
Yep, and there's another story coming out of Buttonwillow. Look at those groove tires.
New tires on the West Coast in the middle of the year. West Coast Series going from the Hoosier Slick to the Toyo R888 treaded tire. We'll talk more about that during the show.
Yep, and so here we are at the start of Buttonwillow, round number 11. We're on board with Joey Bickers. And, let's go ahead and talk about it right now. We have some time. Tell us, what can we see different about these tires?
Well, they last longer, first of all, and are said to be more consistent. Also, though, since they're treaded 3 seconds a lap slower, you're going to see the cars move around a lot more than they did on the Hoosiers. And remember, on the Hoosiers, in some of our past footage, the cars were already moving around a lot. As you see here, Bickers taking a lead away from Herta.
Yep, and here we go. Here's a new angle.
Coming up right now, that is from Rob Cliver out there with the video camera. Herta looking for the lead on Bickers.
And so now we're about to go on board with Bickers again, and there's Herta coming down the inside, and these two have been going at it all season long.
All season long, it seems every race it's Herta versus Bickers or Bickers versus Herta. This time, though, Herta would take the advantage at Buttonwillow.
Yep, and he took the advantage in round 11, which, as we're talking about, extended his points lead pretty good there.
Extended his points lead. Bickers wouldn't give it up easily. Another close race, close margin at the line. But Bickers, showing the outright speed in the race, would set the fastest lap, even though he had to settle for second. So another PR1 1-2 in the Pacific Series. Alex Keys, however, kept the leaders in sight the entire race, which is good for him. Andrew Evans went from 6th to 4th, and Sage Marie took the Expert Class win on his series debut.
Now here's something we're going to see for a lot of years to come. Here's Adrian Starantino from the East, the Formula F Championship Series, coming over to congratulate Colton Herta. All these guys running together, really nice cohort developing.
And Starantino, of course, drove for Brian Herta Autosport, finished second in the points on the East Coast Series. There you see the podium in Buttonwillow. Herta on top, Bickers second, Alex Keys with another third-place trophy for the Cameron Group.
And now we're going to go to the start of round number 12, and we go on board with Herta, who started on the pole here, and we'll see here down this long front stretch, he's going to keep the lead.
He will keep the lead, but remember, Jason, since he took the win in the first race, Bickers has to answer back now. He had the speed with the fastest race lap. The tires are a new thing for both the drivers and the teams to learn. I mean, that's a major change to make in the middle of the year, and probably an advantage for these drivers moving forward in their careers, where they can make major setup changes in the middle of a campaign, in the middle of the year.
All right, so let's go and focus with Bickers to see what happens here. And he starts out, after the first couple of turns, he's in third place and going to have to fight his way through the field.
Back to third, and if you remember on previous episodes of In Focus, Alex Keys on the start, super fast.
Super fast on the start, which puts Bickers in a position here where he has to battle back from third.
But Keys much faster at Buttonwillow than he was earlier in the year, so Bickers not losing too much time, and of course would work past Keys as he locked up the brakes there.
Yep, and so now we have Bickers in second place, and now here's a pass for the lead.
Bickers looking for that advantage, has to win this race, needs to keep himself alive in the championship, heading to Las Vegas, which is a triple header.
Yep, now that wasn't the pass for the win, because here comes Colton Herta driving back.
Yeah, not going to give it up easily. They're going wheel to wheel. There's another win, more points in the line.
Now we're back on board with Herta, and I think we're going to see another pass here.
Yep, you can see Bickers in his mirror there. There is a very evident red car just inches away.
Yeah, and so I'm getting ahead of the gun. There is no pass here, but you can see Herta definitely up on the wheel. And here we go, that nice new footage that we have. Very good angle.
And a little bump from Bickers. I don't know if he got in there on the brakes later, is trying to intimidate Herta a bit, but close racing, a little bit of contact.
All right, so here we go. Like you said, Bickers hungry, looking for the lead.
And that was, interestingly, the first time we've seen that kind of contact from the West Coast Series, where the East Coast guys seemingly did it all year.
Yep, and that was the pass for the lead and the pass for the win. And so Bickers would go on to take this race.
And Bickers, he capitalizes on his outright speed in round 12, where he set the fastest race lap and took the win. He's there with another podium. And Sage Marine, another good run. Andrew Evans in 5th after pitting to clean out his radiators.
Yep, so Bickers comes back, tightens the points battle up a little bit more, and they're going to go on to Vegas.
3 races at Vegas. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'll tell you what, typically what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but on this show, what happens in Vegas gets aired here on F1600 in Focus, including this.
And a flyover in Las Vegas to start the season finale, Jason. I guess series boss Les Phillips has some connections in Nevada.
He has some connections, and or the track is connected to the Air Force Base, so you get some really cool views there. And so here's Colton Herta in round 13, and he is the eventual winner, and this one wasn't even close.
No, first race of the year, all year basically, where someone broke away. Herta, 13-second gap would essentially seal the championship. He would just have to finish the next race. Here you go, Bickers and Keys talking about perhaps the finer points of tracking down Colton Herta in the remaining 2 rounds.
Yeah, they have 2 more rounds to try and catch up to Herta, and Bickers has 2 more rounds to try and catch up in the championship. And here we go, the parade lap for round number 14, the penultimate round of the Pacific F1600 Championship Series from Vegas. And
Herta on the pole based on a speedy car all weekend on the West Coast Pacific Series, and essentially all he has to do is bring that Miguel Honda home in one piece, and he's the 2013 champion.
Yep, so here we go, watching the penultimate race from a new camera angle outside the track. And so F1600 in Focus, bringing out all the camera angles for the championship edition.
Bringing out all our tricks here. Again, Rob Cliver standing in turn 1, probably getting a sunburn for us, but you can see just how close together the top 5 cars were on the start, and you can also see just how flat this Las Vegas track is.
Yeah, and so that's really something that we get out on the West Coast. We get lots of flat tracks, meaning you can stand on one place in the track and see the whole track.
Not to discredit any other road courses, but some of them you stand in a quarter and you get 2 or 3 minutes before you see cars. You just stand around most of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Creates a really cool atmosphere. And here we go. Let's see the start again from the onboard of Bickers.
Bickers trying to salvage perhaps another win, and Herta there sort of stretches it almost immediately. He gets a good advantage on the start, and interestingly, the second race of the triple header, what will happen to these tires? At this point, no one knows what the Toyo will do in a triple header in this kind of heat.
No, absolutely. In this race, we'll actually see the tires tested a couple of different ways, but you're actually absolutely right. That's another variable that these drivers have the opportunity to learn in the Pacific F1600 Series.
And that was essentially a setup, because here you can see Bickers understeer straight off the racetrack, and that may be a still learning the Toyo kind of situation.
Yeah, well, and here we go now. We get to learn some more of what the Toyo can do after being pounded like that, as Bickers now has to try and drive his way back into the field.
And remember, we saw Alex Keys flat spot his, so they can take abuse. Bickers would lose a ton of time, but recovers, passes Andrew Evans there in a Spectrum from Cameron. Bickers would salvage a podium in this race, but up front, all about Colton Herta.
All about Colton Herta, and really all about really putting these Toyo tires to the limit. As you can watch, there's going to be some great footage here of just the back coming around and Colton Herta with some really good car control.
And Herta, he knows Bickers is essentially wounded. His F2000 car goes by there, but he's pushing out in front to take yet another victory and steal the championship in round 14. Alex Keys, best result of the year, 2nd place for Cameron. Bickers rounded out the podium. Evans, Phillips, and newcomer Tazio Otis straight out of karting in P6.
So here we go for the final round of the Pacific F1600 Series, and we're on board with Herta as he keeps the lead down this long front stretch.
And the question is, can he do the sweep? 3 race wins in 2 days in Las Vegas, and that would make it 10 wins in 15 races. That's an astonishing number.
That's absolutely astonishing.
But here goes Bickers on the outside, takes the lead right away. Bickers trying to salvage something. Another trophy may help.
Yeah, another trophy definitely helps. It's a long off season, and they have a lot of time to talk.
But Herta, not wasting any time, takes the lead back. He has Vegas figured out.
Yep, and so now we go on board with Bickers, and his weekend just continues to go downhill. Here he gets hit from behind. Look at this. Boom!
Alex Keys right in the mirror there, trying something, didn't work. That would give Keys a car that he could not drive back. He would fail to finish, and Bickers would be wounded.
All right, so we talk about what happens to these tires at the end of the weekend. I think here's your answer. Look at this.
Herta all over the place, holding onto that car, and again, he knows that people behind him are wounded or just not as fast as he is, and he is pushing this car. He wants another win and to underline his dominance in the 2013 season in the Pacific Series. There it is. There's a stat we talked about. 10 wins, 15 starts. That's a pretty good percentage.
It is.
Looking at the results, Herta, again, flag to flag, essentially. Vickers, Evans, another good run for him. I think that might be his first podium of the year. Series boss Les Phillips, trying out his own product in 4th. Otis with the improvement over round 14. And there you see Bickers and Herta on the left, of course, perhaps discussing their future and what that may hold.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, and this is going to be a conversation that we're going to see for a long time, these two guys talking to each other and someone holding a checkered flag. And I'll tell you what, Herta looks like a young Jeff Gordon. I hope he continues not to have a mustache.
Let's talk to the champion.
Just, had a missed shift on the start and lost a spot to Joey and just got him back, and I guess there was contact in the back, and I just tried to stay focused and just got the win.
That's great. Well, you're the champion of this series, is that correct?
Yes, very.
How's it feel? Feel good?
I think it feels better for the PR1 guys. They've been working so hard all this weekend, and for all the mechanics, they're all back in at the Houston IndyCar race, and for the new people to jump in, it's like really great job to my mechanic Ridge and just full effort team.
Congrats to our champion, Colton Herta. And now let's move on to Formula F graduate and West Coast Series product, Charlie Kimball.
Well, starting my career in Formula F, both here in the US and in Europe, gave me the opportunity to master racecraft in a car without the aerodynamics. Aerodynamics changes the way you can race. Formula F, you're wheel to wheel the whole race long, drafting, really able to maximize those chances that you get competing with other guys on track. And that's something that Formula F gives a driver that'll last you your whole racing career.
And now here we are, the Big Daddy, the SCCA Runoffs, the 50th anniversary, as we go on board with Reed Hazelton as he leads them to the green flag.
Well, he's actually on the outside of the front row, Jason, and there is reigning SCCA Formula F National Champion Tim Couts. Piper Honda for Couts versus Van Diemen Ford for Hazelton. A lot on the line, big bragging rights, 50th anniversary of the Runoffs. At Elkhart Lake, no less.
Absolutely, and we're going to see a little bit different racing style than we saw out on the West Coast Series. And just tell us kind of the dynamics of the racetrack and the racing that we're going to see.
Well, Elkhart Lake, 4 miles, 14 turns, probably the best road course in the United States. In Wisconsin, about an hour north of Milwaukee. Big drafting track with a lot of long straightaways for the Formula F cars. As you see Hazelton there, around Luke Cooper in the Polestar entry. Back in a second, this race would come down to the draft, and Hazelton and Couts would need to separate themselves.
Yeah, so we're going to see some back and forth action and some really great racing, some really great passing, some really great sportsmanship coming out of these Formula F drivers.
Hard racing at Road America, and you have 2 very, very different cars. Hazelton, a more basic Van Diemen Ford from 1992. Couts in a very, very developed Piper with the Honda motor, which he won the runoffs in 2012, and he had won before that as well in 2010 in a Piper Ford, and was runner-up in the Pro Series on the East Coast for the championship in 2011. So Couts, a little bit older, knows his way around the racetrack.
Now this is pretty interesting. This is Couts trying to figure out what he's going to do on the last lap to really see what's going to happen.
And they sized each other up, and there's a hill going to the start finish at Road America, so it could come down to engine power.
And so
here we go, last lap, going into Canada corner, Hazelton looking for the lead. And he gets it, but big wiggle on the brakes there. Didn't leave another millimeter in that brake zone.
So here we go now up to turn 14, and here they go going to the lead.
This is for the win, 50th anniversary runoffs. Hazelton in the lead. He's not going to make it easy for Couts. Couts alongside well before the start-finish line. Hazelton just left enough room there. And a fist pump for Couts, third runoffs title, second straight one. And there you see the results. Couts, Hazelton, Jeffrey Bart, still in high school, good run to third. And you see some names from the Pro Series, such as Scott Rubenzer in the Spectrum. Bart's, of course, also Honda-powered, as is Rubenzer. Not to leave out news and notes from the F1600 Series on the East Coast, Jake Edson already signed with Cape Motorsports for USF 2000 in 2014, meaning there will be new talent in the Spectrum, the factory Spectrums from the Capes, maybe 2 cars, we'll see. The East Coast Series has confirmed the schedule will expand as well to 14 races in 7 weekends. A lot of other question marks. What about Isla Agron? She's been testing F2000. Aaron Tellitz could be poised for a 2-liter move as well. Brian Herta Autosport will become Chastain Racing, fielding 2 or 3 Megals. Herta keeps the Megal importer contract, however. We could see Paul Alsbach run another year with Wisco. We'll see about him. He picked up speed throughout the year. Wisco themselves, however, could be expanding again to 3 cars, 3 Megals, as they report much interest in the F1600 program. And HP Tech, some heavy hitters from the F2000 series, have told us they are building an F1600 car. Sam Chastain as well, already confirmed he'll be back in 2014. Could Polestar add a young gun? They also have a Spectrum Honda. A lot of stories heading into the offseason.
What great action all season long on F1600 in Focus. And thank you for joining us on our championship edition, where you saw great action today from the final rounds of the Pacific F1600 Series in the 50th anniversary of the SCCA Runoff. Glad that you were here with us all season long. Special thanks to Honda Performance Development for all the support they've given us this year. Also, special acknowledgement to Pacific F1600 Series champion Colton Herta and the winner of the 50th anniversary SCCA Runoff, Tim Couts. You can follow Formula F action throughout the offseason on all of the following websites. For Formula F Insider Monty Matheson, I'm Jason Dukes, wishing you a safe and happy offseason, and we look forward to seeing you next season on F1600 in Focus.